Hello, welcome to the Bad Ear, Learning to Live with Tinnitus, Part 7, the psychology of it all. Now, there's a very unfortunate thing that happens with tinnitus, and it's depression. And it can come on very strong for some people. This is common. And once you start looking into it, you'll see that it is an ongoing theme over and over again. People get engulfed with this depression because of the tinnitus. Now, I'm a lucky person in that I never have been someone who's suffered with depression, but I certainly understand it in relation to the tinnitus. Thoughts of suicide are not uncommon. So what I can say to you is if you're having thoughts of suicide and you're fighting depression, get help. This is your body telling you that you need help. Don't give in to this. This is not something that you can't get a handle on, and seek professional help. A video that I've watched twice, and I've enjoyed it thoroughly both times, and I've recommended this video at least 10 times, and I'm recommending it to you, is by a woman named Isobel Anderson. She is a musician in the United Kingdom, and I have not heard this song, but apparently she did a song about tinnitus, and because she's fighting with tinnitus, and she got so many responses because of the song that she did a video explaining her experience with tinnitus. It's honest. She talks about her struggles socially. She talks about her frustration with the online forums and with going to doctors, and she talks about her depression that she had been fighting, and she talks about getting past it all. And it's a well-spent 30 minutes. She did an excellent job with this, so I would recommend watching that. A list of counselors can be found via the Tinnitus Society in the United States. Here's a link to that. It doesn't have to be local. Just seek out the best person. These days, one of the few bonuses of the COVID-19 situation is a lot of doctors are doing online, offering online services such as counseling. So it would be perfect for that. You could talk to the best person in California if you lived in Georgia, or if you lived in the United Kingdom, you could talk to somebody in New Zealand. It's a wonderful thing that's happening here. So get some help, find somebody to talk to. You're not alone. This is a very common thing. I actually think it's almost a biological thing or a physiological thing. If you think about how we react to sound, lightning and thunder will create certain emotional responses. A baby crying will initiate a response. The squealing of tires, brakes, and wheels on that, the impending accident will initiate a response. So there's a connection between what we hear and our emotions. And I really believe that this tinnitus is triggering a depression response that's normal, considering what we're dealing with. So don't feel bad about it. This is common, but get help. Now, another thing that's helped me, and maybe it will help you too, is staying busy. When I first got it, did what most people do, is go to the doctors, and then I ended up with this hearing aid system called the Widex system. I talked about that in part 2 of this series. And it has various sounds, little bell sounds and Zen type sounds and white noise and different things that sends a signal. The little hearing I still have will send a signal to the brain to help calm it down. And the whole time I'm doing this, I'm thinking, really what this is doing for me is entertaining me and giving me hope while I get used to the new situation I found myself thrust into. And there's a bit of truth to that. I'm not saying that this doesn't help, but it gives me the sense that I'm doing something about this monster that I'm fighting while I'm getting used to it. The getting used to it is what we call habituation. Now, I'll talk more about that in a minute, but first, staying busy. We're downstairs, and you can't really see it there, but I started making wine. So these are just the empty bottles drying, but down below the table here I have some coolers, and over there I have my fermenter, and I usually have about 60 to 90 bottles going at a time. I've never made wine before, but I was always curious about it. So I started doing it, and I learned about the fermentation, about the different processes, and making notes. And oh, I didn't know you had to do that. This makes a difference doing that, and I don't have to do this additive, but I should add this additive, etc. And every batch is getting a little better, and making notes, and where you source the grapes from, and reading books about it. And I never had made wine before, so I'm enjoying making wine. When I'm making wine, I'm not paying any attention to the tinnitus. I've had a very successful career building guitars for decades. I've had a wonderful career, and I've loved it dearly. But enough's enough. I've been doing it for over 40 years now, and I feel like it's time for me to step out of the way and let the younger guys come on and do what they do. But when the tinnitus hit, I thought, well, I threw myself back into the guitar building, and I've designed a new little small body guitar geared towards us older players that are playing more for comfort, and enjoyed it a lot. You know, designing it, coming up with the little features it has, building it, having the response from the customers. It's been somewhat successful. I mean, it's nice here at the end of my career to come up with something completely new. But the point is, I threw myself back into my work again. Thank God it saved my ass again. In this difficult period of my life, work was a constant there for me. And when I'm building the guitar and working on the guitar, I'm not thinking about the tinnitus. I've been into antique cars for a long time. Well, there weren't antique cars when I started messing with them. They were just cars. But now they've become antique cars. And I've always, not always, but as soon as I could get financially ahead enough to afford it, I've had a third car that I've been restoring. These days it's so much easier than it used to be with the internet and that, and I just love it. You find an old car that you like, you learn about it, and if it's a car I've never owned before, I'm working on things I've never worked on before, so I'm doing something new. When I'm trying to find the leak in this master cylinder and why that clutch pedal goes to the floor, I'm not thinking about the tinnitus. So the point is, I'm staying occupied. Now would be a wonderful time to take on stuff you haven't done before. Maybe now's the time to spend some time learning about how to meditate. That certainly will come in handy, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Or maybe now's the time to write that book you've been thinking that you would like to write, or learn another language. Any number of things. Photography. Spend time with the grandkids. Whatever. Come up with something. Perhaps do something new that you haven't done before, and stay active. Because it buys time, it buys pleasant time while you're getting adjusted to the new situation. So let's circle back around to meditation. I've meditated on and off through the years, and I find it interesting. When this tinnitus hit, the meditation was very helpful to me. Now, if you haven't meditated, now might be a good time to learn about it. I mean, try something new, like winemaking or whatever. There are lots of different ways to meditate, and you may find a manner of meditation that works well for you. Meditation doesn't mean you have to sit with your legs crossed on the floor for 45 minutes. I usually meditate 10 minutes. That's my usual thing. I even have little mini meditations that I do through the day. I'm going to explain more about my own method in part 7B. But that's a little separate section because it may not speak to more people because it's my own personal thing. I think what I'm explaining here could be helpful to a lot of people. So look into meditation. Now, when you're meditating, you probably have heard of a mantra before. And Om, Om. People use a mantra in meditation. A lot of times, you pay attention to your breath and count backwards. The idea is really a be here now kind of thing. The idea is to shut all the chatter down that's going on in your life, put all the responsibilities, hassles, everything that's going on, put it on pause for a second, and just give yourself a moment to be with yourself. That's my approach to it. Just to be calm in life for just a moment. The idea is you can expand on that, but just for a moment, if you can just let the concerns you have about your tinnitus, let the anxiety that you have, let the worry that you have, put it all on pause for just a moment. Just give yourself a break. This is what meditation does for you. And I dove into it. Since I'd had some experience before, I really dove into it when my tinnitus hit me so suddenly and so harshly. As you know, it's a life-changing situation. It was very helpful to me. Now, I tell you all that to lead you to this. Glenn Schweitzer wrote this book called Rewiring Tinnitus. Now, let me tell you a moment about Glenn. Glenn fights Meniere's disease, and I really probably have some version of Meniere's disease. My symptoms are very similar to that. He has a blog, he has meditations, he offers counseling. So if you needed a counselor, he might be someone to consider. In the comment section below, I'll put a link to Glenn so you can see what he's offering. This book, Rewiring Tinnitus, is available on Amazon. What Glenn does is he takes the Om mantra, he replaces that with your tinnitus. So you're using the tinnitus as your mantra when you're meditating. So you're meditating and you're listening to the tinnitus. And the tinnitus, as your mind starts to drift off about, I have to get this together for dinner. Just relax. It's okay to think about that, but let's kindly come back to just not thinking about that right now. Let's just relax. Oh no, the kids are gonna have to go back to school. I'm so worried about the COVID-19 thing. Not now. Just for a little moment in life, let's just stop right now and give it a rest. So listen to the tinnitus to remind yourself to come back to the calm place. So you're using the mantra of the tinnitus, and that calm, centered, peaceful place that you have, you're doing a direct relationship. If you do this regularly, meditate, and you learn how to meditate, and you learn how to access that calm place that we have in us, amongst this lunacy of life that we live in, they come down to this calm place. You learn how to access that, and then you start relating your tinnitus to that, and you're using the tinnitus to help you. You're using the tinnitus to help you achieve that calm state. Now, this is good stuff, because you're able, when you're not meditating, you're associating the tinnitus to the calmness instead of the stress that it has caused you. So it's a complete flip. And I just think it's spectacular. It's a great idea. It's not for everybody, but it warrants giving it a shot. And it doesn't cost you anything. It's not bad for you. But it certainly did work for me, and it's worth looking into. Now, one more thing about meditation and psychology. Our objective here is the habituation, which means just accepting it in our lives and not fighting it. And it's just part of day in and day out life. Now, believe me, I'm not saying this is nothing. I know tinnitus. I know single-sided deafness and habituation, and what a life-changing deal this is. Your relationships change. Things become a struggle that weren't a struggle before. Your social situation changes. It's a game changer. It's not nothing, but it's not so bad that by getting up off the couch, trying different things, that you can't get more of a handle on it. And the best way to get a handle on this, the best cure for tinnitus is habituation, which means just accepting it. Now, one of the things that has helped me, and it may help you, is our good old friends, the hearing protection. When I'm meditating, I started putting these on just to block out the sound of the noise in the rest of the house. People walking, dropping, pans in the kitchen, dogs barking, sounds of the house. So I put these on to block that out. But interesting side effect happened. By putting these on, the tinnitus becomes more under a magnifying glass. Suddenly with this on, I can hear my tinnitus in ways I can't hear it when I have the hearing in my good ear, when I have it off and hear other sounds. But when I have it muted and I have these on, I can hear my tinnitus in ways I can't hear it the rest of the time. And a couple of interesting things happen. I'm hearing little sounds and bubbles and pops and whistles and things I haven't heard before. But by having it compartmentized, I'm able to listen to the part of the tinnitus that I don't find so annoying, the lower hissing sounds that, to me, I like to pretend like it's the sounds of the waves. Again, a calm thing, something I like, and not listen to the high squealy things. So you can control it to some degree. Glenn, in this book, has some interesting imagery he uses to try to control, I think he does it, to work towards controlling the volume and the tone of the tinnitus. this gave me the idea when I realized this. Well, this is just like a wonderful opportunity to work on the EQ of the tinnitus. I don't know how much you can actually manipulate the tinnitus, but what I do know is you can focus on the part of it that you don't find so unpleasant, and that diminishes the part of it that you do find unpleasant. So in the meditation process, you can do that, and this helps you do that, the headphones. So just remember, you're not alone. We all have these same emotions. We all have the same struggle, those of us who are fighting this tinnitus habituation, single-sided deafness. So hang on, and I'm hoping that something here will be of help to you, give you some ideas for you to succeed in your own battle against tinnitus. So hopefully something here has been of help to you. If it has, please like it and share the information, and please subscribe. So thanks a lot.